Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I am really excited to be here today and just really excited for this webinar and excited that it's the holidays and we get to talk about some things that have really affected my life a lot. And so I feel like, especially as I work with clients, the holidays is it's a big deal for people, and it's a time where there can be a lot of pain from just past experiences, family drama, family loss, friend loss, all kinds of things. So what I wanted to just do really quick is just introduce myself. My name is Jen Polson, and I do energy work. I've been trained in Simply Healed, and it has just been an amazing experience for me. I always wanted to figure out what I was really good at and wanted to live this dream. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that I wanted to figure out what it was. And so when I was introduced to energy work, it was just like everything clicked for me, and I started living my dream and my purpose. And now I get to help so many other people live their dream and their purpose and really help them figure out who they really are. And so anyway, so today what we're going to do is just we're going to talk about three really important things that we can do to help make a transformation in our experience, not only through the holidays, but through our everyday lives. And then at the end of, after I share some things, I have a special guest. She's online right now. I'm going to introduce her to you in a little bit, and she's going to share an experience that she's had just applying the things that we're going to talk about today. And then at the end of the call, I have a special offer for you that my team and I have put together, especially for the holidays. And so I'm just going to tell you about that and give you some information about that. So if you want more information, you have it available to you. So the way that I wanted to just introduce my to present my information is through some affirmations. And if you've worked with me, you know that we do a lot of work with affirmations and changing negative subconscious beliefs into positive beliefs. And through affirmations is one way that we do that. So I'm going to talk about 3 affirmations that we're going to transform our experience into the holidays, into helping us have a greater holiday experience. So as we do this, as we have this time together, since I do energy work, it's kind of my thing. I can't help it. I just have to do it, right? So if you guys feel like you're having some emotions come up and you have the intention of wanting to let it go, I want you to know that I'm going to be doing my thing and releasing emotions as they come up. And so just make sure you keep breathing, especially if something resonates with you or you feel an emotion coming up. I'm having the intention of helping you release anything that's going to come up today so that you can have a more powerful experience. So, okay, so the first affirmation that we're going to go over today is I let go of the struggle. And what I've noticed with working not only with myself but with my clients is that being in the struggle is what keeps us stuck more than anything. And so when we're fighting against our feelings and we are telling ourselves that, I shouldn't feel this way, I don't want to feel this way, I just need to get over this, I'll never get over it. When we're having that kind of talk, it is really difficult, and we're creating this struggle and we're fighting against just how we feel. And I was thinking about, why do you think that is? Why do you think that we beat ourselves up about how we feel? And as I was thinking about this, I just realized we probably had an adult in our lives that at some point, we were frustrated or having a fit about something, and that adult said, hey, you don't need to feel that way, or stop that. You shouldn't feel that way. And so we start getting these beliefs about the value of our feelings, right? And so that kind of starts a cycle, and then this struggle that kind of stays with us through our lives until we start to become aware of it. I thought about how many times I've done that to my kids and told my kids, but in my really great moments as a mom, like I get down on their level and I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay, and we're going to get this worked out. And so I wanted to share one experience with you that I had several years ago, because I struggled with this a lot, not feeling like that I should be feeling certain ways. And anyway, I was taking a class years ago, just learning a little bit more about emotions and energy, and we were talking about situations that really frustrated us and stressed us out. And it was at the holidays, and I had a family party to go to, and at that time, without naming names, there was one person that I just really struggled with, and I felt like this person didn't like me and didn't like my kids, and I felt really victimized in this situation, and I felt like, I couldn't be myself. And in this class, the teacher of this class, he just said to me, Jen, I'm going to give you permission to feel the way you want to feel. You can go to that family party, and if you choose to speak with that person, that's fine. If you choose to just ignore that person, that's fine. He gave me permission to feel and act the way that felt like that was true to me. And just by doing that, it opened up my ability to not take things personally and to have an enjoyable time at this family party, because I let go of that struggle between what I was feeling inside my head and my heart. And so think about how many times through the holidays, especially, that you just go through the motions. You're just showing up because that's what you do. You don't want to disappoint someone. You don't want to, you're just doing things because you should do that. So I'm giving you permission in this moment to let go of the struggle of that, to recognize, to recognize that it's okay to feel the way that you feel. And so I want to do one little, just have you visualize something really, really quick. Let's pretend you're at that moment where, you're that little kid, and this adult person in your life, is telling you to be quiet and stop crying, and you're embarrassing me, and you shouldn't feel that way. Just connect to that moment for just a second, and then allow yourself to see either yourself as the adult who knows the truth, or allow yourself to see, if you believe in Jesus, if you believe in some higher power, allow that person to come in, or maybe even you can see that adult, now that adult understands the truth, and see that adult person come in and just tell you the truth about it's okay to feel how you feel. And so, I'm just going to have everybody take a breath, and let's just clear just any lies around that it's not okay to feel your feelings. And let's connect you to the truth that it is okay to have your feelings, to validate them, and to let go of fighting against them. Let's take a breath on that. Okay, so tip number 1 is to let go of the struggle, be at peace with your feelings, and know that the truth is that your feelings really are okay. All right, so that leads us to the next step. The next step is I let go of my victim story. I don't know if any of you have ever listened to Dr. Laura. I used to listen to her all the time on the radio, And one day I'm driving in my car and I hear her tell this woman, calls up and tells her story. And Dr. Laura, you know how blunt she is. She's like, hey, if you're not going to do anything to change it on the inside or take action, then you have no business complaining about it. And I'm in my car going, oh my gosh, this woman, she has some nerve, I'm totally sympathetic to the lady on the line who's, having an emotional breakdown. And, Dr. Laura just totally called her out on her victim story. I didn't realize at the time that that's what it was. But that moment made a really powerful impression on me, one that has helped me, now recognize when I'm complaining about something and when I'm getting stuck in a victim story. And so although, I definitely was siding with the poor caller and appalled at Dr. Laura at the time, it really just made a big impression on me. And it's something that I practice every day, recognizing when I'm allowing myself to be in a victim mentality. And so for what is a victim story? It's, think about, anytime you catch yourself complaining about something or somebody, anytime that you find yourself blaming somebody else for how you feel, or bad luck, or things not working out, anytime that, that you're just, and when you tell your story over and over again, that's a really good sign that you're stuck in your victim story. So I know that, people have experienced all kinds of pain, and I know that there are so many people out there who have experienced much higher, deeper levels of pain than I have. And I'm not here to discount anybody's pain at all. But what I'm here to do is just help you realize that when we choose to recognize when our pain keeps us stuck, whether it's from, some friend forgetting to send you a Christmas card 3 years ago and you're still thinking about it, still bugs you, or whether it's something as serious as, or as painful as the loss of a loved one, or some kind of abuse that has happened, like, you still have the ability to separate yourself from what that pain can do to you, as far as keeping you from being stuck. I was just on a group call with some clients of mine, and one of my clients shared how her husband passed away during the holidays, and I'm not sure what the time frame on that was, but what she said after that was so amazing to me, that she said that as she's worked through it, that she's able to stop and ask, okay, what's the gift? What do I get to learn from this experience? And I mean, that just about made me tear up, because it was so sweet and so sincere. And I thought, wow, how many times have I asked myself that question in the middle of, my own personal drama or whatever is going on in my life. And I just thought that was such an amazing perspective, is what's the gift that we get from our painful experiences. Choosing to let those go, choosing to get out of our victim story, just empowers us. It helps us to be stronger. It connects us. It allows us to really gain a lot of wisdom and compassion, and it expands our ability to love and help others. It even expands our ability to be happy, and to increase our ability to trust and love and forgive, which seems kind of counterintuitive because it's pain that we're talking about, but overcoming the pain and giving that to God, and choosing not to stay stuck in it really, really empowers us in so many ways. Years ago, my parents got divorced, and I was an adult, and it had a pretty big effect on me. And I, as I look back on that, I just realized how stuck in my victim story I was around that. And I had these stories going on in my head all the time. I was, blaming my mom for stuff, blaming my dad for stuff, blaming them for how I felt, blaming them for my fear in my own relationships. And then I would talk about it to some of my friends, and I would just like, it would just overwhelm me. And I didn't realize at the time what was happening inside of me and how that was bringing me down. But you know how God works. He like sends people to us to help us and teach us, and hopefully we're open and ready for that. And he sent a friend to me, and she started teaching me about the power of my thoughts and my words and what I focus on. And she taught me that, what I focus on expands. And she was coaching me, and she said, Jen, I want you to, for the next week, really practice not thinking or speaking or taking in any kind of negativity. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I had a huge wake-up call. I was not even aware of how many times, I was thinking negatively about myself or somebody else or about my situation. And but that awareness really helped me to start to change what I thought about, and it gave me power to be able to step out of my victim story and choose something different. And so, I don't want you to think that I'm talking about like stuffing your feelings. That's not what I'm talking about here. It's really setting those stories and those negative feelings aside and giving them up, really. And my personal belief is that you give it to God, and then He has that power to change how you think and you feel, and supports you in that. That awareness that I had at that time in my life just started to change the course of my life. And some of you who have worked with me know that, one of the first things I teach you is to pay attention to your thoughts. And when you have something negative come up, just simply state, I'm willing to let that go, and I'm willing to feel peaceful, and I'm willing to feel love. And just saying those words helps to change the energy of how you feel and the energy of your thoughts. And it helps you to start to let go of that pain that you're stuck in. So I want you to think about what victim stories you get stuck in during the holidays. Is it about, I don't have enough time, I hate the family drama, my gifts aren't ever good enough, I'm not appreciated? I mean, what are the stories that get stuck for you in your head around the holidays? And, remember, tip number 2, remember that affirmation, I let my victim story go. And that starts with being aware of those thoughts and those feelings, and making a conscious choice to choose something different. Okay, so affirmation number 3 is, I choose how to show up in my life. And I love this one. In fact, this affirmation came up about, last week, I guess, with a client of mine. And he was just experiencing a disconnect between, what he wanted to feel and how he wanted to show up in his life and what he was actually doing. And so we were working on clearing some blocks around that. And how many times have you thought to yourself, like, okay, this year the holidays are going to be different. This year I'm going to feel different. This year I'm going to connect better with my family. This year I'm letting all the drama go. But then you find yourself back into those same thought patterns. The reason that that step number 2, letting go of your victim story, is so important is because it gives you freedom. It gives you freedom to show up how you want to show up in your life, to choose how you want to show up in your life. And it gives you the freedom to choose what works best for your life. And it gives you the freedom to take a step back and choose to slow things down, choose to connect in meaningful ways with the people in your life. And it gives you the freedom to choose how you want to feel when you wake up. And it gives you the freedom to say no when you want to say no, and say yes to what you want to say yes to. And in order to really be able to show up the way you want to do, show up the way you want to in your life, there's something really important that that you have to do. And many of us just don't do it. And sometimes it's easier to stay in the pain and the victim story and the disappointment because it's what's familiar. But the secret to being able to choose how you want to show up is to take a few minutes and write down how you want to feel, how you want to show up in your actions, in your words, in your thoughts. And I'm going to give you an example of that. So a couple things that I wrote out for myself is, every morning I wake up feeling happy and excited about my day. I am patient with my children. I speak in loving tones. I love what I get to contribute in my relationships at home, in my business, and with my friends. And so, really take some time and decide and write down how you want to show up. Sometimes we just kind of flutter in the wind, and we're living our lives at the mercy of whatever circumstances show up, instead of really stepping into our own personal power and making conscious choices and letting go of the things that are keeping us stuck and keeping us blocked. So at this point, now I want to invite my special guest. I'm going to unmute her. Let's see. Can you unmute yourself, Katie? Okay, cool. So I call her my client, but really my clients become some of my most amazing friends. And I am so grateful, for what I get to learn from each of my clients. And it's just a blessing in my life. And so I've been working with Katie for, I don't know, how long?
Since May.
And I have just seen some amazing transformations. Like, she has really put into, she's really made just that heart and soul transformation that is bringing her more peace and more happiness. And Katie, will you share a few minutes, share a little bit about your experience? And
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I started working with Jen after my dad, who was ill for a long time, passed away this past spring. And I was just sort of falling apart, and I had tried traditional therapy before, which was good at the time, but I needed something where I didn't have to tell my story over and over and over and over. I was exhausted by it. And so a friend had given me her phone number, and we finally connected, and it was at a time in my business as well where I was headed into some new kind of pushing some boundaries there, which, like, good stuff, all good, exciting stuff. But it just felt like a lot. And so I don't know how I could live now anymore without Jen Polson. I love my Jen calls. They're really life-giving to me for sure. But just going over the affirmations that she shared today, the first one of being able to let go of the struggle was huge for me, because I've lived in this struggle of my family situation really my whole life, but very intensely the past 5 years or so. And it had become who I was this struggle, and I knew at the beginning of last year, And like Jen said, my higher power is the Lord. And so I knew he had told me, you are going to learn how to let go, and you are not defined by this situation anymore. And I didn't really understand it all because nothing had kind of happened yet with my father. And it has become more and more clear time and time again throughout this 2015 that is what, was meant to be. And even in the death of my father and the pain that whole situation has caused my family, being able, like Jen was saying, the lady who lost her husband, being able to step back and look at this and see the good in it, and not be stuck in the pain and not be stuck in the struggle that had become my identity. It was like I could breathe again because I had been so downtrodden and so burdened by the situation that was completely out of my control anyway, which is a lot of times how life is. So being able to find, and is this perfect in my life? No, I a lot of days have to go back and let it go again, and let it go again and let it go again. But I think the more you do it, the sooner you see it. You don't get so stuck in this quicksand where you're sort of slowly drowning in the sand. You can kind of get out of it and move on to a better place and become more of who you're supposed to be. And Jen says this to me a lot, you're becoming more awake. And to me, I'm like, how else would I want to live? After being able to let go of all this junk and be able to breathe again and live again, why would I not choose that? I don't know, but life takes over sometimes and all those negative thoughts. But again, doing this and creating a habit of good self-head talk and affirmations just brings you to a place where you can let go of things faster. And then the victim story was huge for me. And to me, that's for my own story was a lot of, it was separate, but also very connected to the struggle part. But I'm finding in my own journey in this is that the more you do it, the more you see how other people need it. And I don't know if you've worked with Jen or not, or what your plans are, but the more you have good, positive energy and not so much negativity, you can see it so much clearer in other people. And some people are just not ready. They don't even know that they're negative. They don't see that they're still stuck in this victim story. And I've got a couple of family members that are still very much stuck, and I'm having to go and visit them over Thanksgiving. I was very concerned for my own safety and well-being, not safety, but safety of my soul, I guess. Right. Just being able to go into that situation and come out on the other side still healthy and not exhausted. It was overwhelming to me to think through that all. And so Jen and I talked before I went to see this part of my family, and there's just more stuff going on that's just really hard, and sometimes that's just how families are. But knowing that you can walk into a situation and you can see the struggle in everybody's lives, but you don't have to take it on, and you can be that positive light and love into their life and love on them the way that Christ would love on them, but you don't have to then leave carrying that heavy backpack of their stuff, because everybody, at least in my own situation, looking at, one of them is my brother, I'm like, he needs help, but I can't make him get help. My sister can't make him get help. He has to decide to get help. And until then, all I can do is love him. And I really, to this day, because this is a new kind of struggle that has come up, I have to every day, visualize. I'm a big, I like to visualize things in my life. But I do this every day with him, of me kind of giving him, handing him to the Lord, because I can't carry him. Yeah. I can't carry what the outcome, releasing and letting go of what might happen, I can't carry it. It's too heavy. And so just being able to walk into that situation, love him as best I could in the moment, and then come home and not be totally eaten up for 2 weeks since then has been a huge blessing. And I couldn't have done that last year at all. So my words of encouragement to you is, if you've not, gotten in with Jen P to do that, and she didn't ask me to say that, I'm just saying it because I love her. But it's just been life transformational for me. And for my family. And I mean, my husband doesn't do Jen P calls, and neither do my children, but it rubs off on them. If you're doing it, it rubs off on your entire family. And it's just a nice way. Instead of, I had written down the last affirmation that she talked about choosing how you want to show up. I realized that I was just living, I was just existing, I think is a good word, but I wasn't living. And there's a big, huge difference between the two. And I think you just have to decide what you want to do. And to me, I'm like, I don't want to exist anymore in this yucky stuff that I've existed in for the past however many years. I'm ready just to be more of who I'm supposed to be,
Awesome.
So
thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So powerful. And it's so, I was just thinking about how, have you ever seen I know you've seen a 2-year-old have a temper tantrum in the mall or in your own home or whatever, and you're trying so hard to calm that child down, but they struggle and you're trying to give them even something better than what they want, something better or you're trying to protect them from something. But they're so intent on that struggle, and we have those struggles as adults, and it keeps us in pain, and it keeps us from being able to receive something better and something that's going to bring us more happiness and more peace. And so that's really my goal for working with clients and helping. My part in the world is just helping people realize that be at peace with who you are, be at peace with your emotions, be at peace with whatever situation you're in, be at peace with the struggle, and then it'll relax, and it will become something that you can see as a gift, and you'll learn the lessons, and you'll receive abundance, whatever's there waiting for you. For my team and I have put together a really amazing gift. Some of you know, if you've been to my website, you know that I have two amazing, I call them girls because they're so much younger than me. Hillary and Tina are also Simply Healed trained, and I've been coaching and mentoring them for the last year or so, and I feel so excited to present them to you guys because I need help, because my business has grown so much, and there's so many that are looking for help and support and becoming better. And so in the chat, I just texted you a special landing page that you can click on, and you can see a great special that we have for December, so to work with them. So their sessions are normally $150, and we're discounting those for you this month to $100. And so it's a great time to just give it a try if you haven't yet, or if you want some help and support for the holidays, any family stuff coming up that you feel nervous about. Just go to that page and meet Hillary and Tina and ask questions if you have questions. And we are just here to support you. And Hillary's actually on the call right now. Wave, Hillary. She's so cute and adorable, and I just love Hillary and Tina. And for the record, they both work on me, so I know they're really good. And I don't let a lot of people work on me. So thank you so much, you guys, for being here, and have a really amazing holiday.